Here's why you have to cold approach. First, what is cold approach? A lot of guys know, but cold approach is when you see a girl during your day and you don't know her, and you use your manly courage to go up and strike up a conversation, introduce yourself. Now, there's different ways to do this, and unfortunately a lot of guys hide behind dating apps or sliding into the DMs, etc., etc. And they cope with their ego and convince themselves that's just the way it is in the modern day. The modern day dating is so screwed up. That's what I have to do. That's not how it's done anymore. Does any of that sound familiar to you? Hopefully not. Because most men hide behind that as a low-hanging fruit, hoping that swiping or a DM might get them a date. Maybe they'll win the lottery of the dating app. Maybe it'll give me something. Or you could pick yourself up as a man, sort of reclaim your masculinity. What did guys do before dating apps? Sometimes I get the answer, oh, well, they got their friends to introduce us. Again, if you have that great happily ever after, fine. But you're relying on someone else. What if you could just trust yourself and be confident? Oh, I am confident. Really? Then why are you talking yourself out of approaching that girl? I don't believe you. Oh, she's busy. She has her AirPods in. She might be on a Zoom meeting. She probably doesn't want to be bothered. I don't want her to think that I'm a creep. Hopefully none of that sounds familiar to you as well. Guys find many ways to cope out of this to protect their ego. So what you should do, give yourself a 3-second rule to bypass any overthinking. Walk up to her and you could do one of two things. You could say, hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but I saw you and thought you were beautiful, and I just wanted to come up and introduce myself. My name's Justin. Boom. And the key is, actually, let me back up there. So what you would do is that same thing, walk up, hey, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but I saw you, thought you were beautiful, and had to come introduce myself. What's your name? Oh, Jessica? Nice to meet you. Pause. Wait for her to ask you back. If she doesn't ask you back what your name is, she's not interested. Now, if she does, now we have something to work with. And the option I kind of like to go with is doing that same thing without the compliment, because they know why you're walking up to them. So let's do it again. You see the girl in the coffee shop or a grocery store. I want to challenge you not to do this in a bar. because, oh, they're more open to being approached than liquid courage, blah, blah, blah. Beer and drinks are also feminizing you. Beer has estrogen in it. Drinking these sugary drinks, alcohol poisons your brain. That's a topic for a different day. So let's back up. See the girl, grocery store, coffee shop. You walk up, say, hey, I don't mean to interrupt. Or, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt. But I saw you and I had to come introduce myself. Or I noticed you. That's a good one. I noticed you and I had to come introduce myself. What was your name? Angie? Oh, it's great to meet you, Angie. Again, wait for her to respond and ask you back. If there's a pause and she's like, oh, yeah, thank you so much, and then she doesn't ask you, just move on. Or she gives you any kind of, like, she doesn't ask you back or gives you any sort of like thing that's not asking your name, basically, you can basically just move with that. Even if it doesn't feel like a rejection or like she's not interested, or if it is a rejection, you can just say, hey, well, I just had to come up and introduce myself. So I hope you take it as a compliment and just enjoy the rest of your day. And you can leave. Leave on a really high note. She got a compliment, right? Even if you didn't use the compliment, she knows why you approached. And there you have it. And now you're not relying on dating apps. And now you realize approaching isn't that bad. And now you realize you don't need to rely on anything else to potentially find really, really great, high quality women that may even evolve into something more one day.